why don't we get into the topic of the day? We always have a hard time with topics of the day. Sometimes they just come to me, but other times I really don't know, and I always try to incorporate something relatable with vibes. So something that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, just talking to different friends and family, and just kind of I like to check in with a lot of people that are close to me. I'm the guy who's always texting them, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Or I'll DM them or I'll call them because I like to check on people.
Sure.
And so when you start talking to them and getting into it, everyone's like, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But as soon as you bring up maybe a certain person or a certain situation that happened, their vibe changes immediately. And what I noticed is a lot of people hold in a lot of anger towards other people or towards things that happened to them, people who did them wrong, even towards things they've done to themselves and they're not proud of. So what I noticed is when you're holding stuff in, and actually the topic of the day is about letting go, and how when you let go, a whole weight is lifted off your shoulders. And I've noticed that with myself. I don't know if you've noticed that, but even in myself, letting go of things that I thought would define me because of the things I did in the past or behaviors I had in the past. Over the last 5-6 months, I've decided to just drop everything, be a lot more forgiving towards myself. And that really helped me try to lift my vibe. And if other people did that more, I notice a lot of people, they hold stuff in and they have grudges and this and that. Like they're fine. But then as soon as you bring it up, it's like they turn into the devil and they're ready to kill. So I always encourage people, whatever it is that you're holding on to here, if you keep holding on to that for so long, that'll turn into cancer eventually. That's going to eat you up. Even though you don't think it is because it's remaining silent, it's still within you. It's still in your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So even friends of mine, I've told them this, learn to forgive. It's not about the people that did you wrong. They're not bad people. You might think that someone is a bad person because of what they did to you or how they behave. But like you and I always talk about, people are just the products of their environment, their surroundings, their upbringings, their parents,
their genes,
and their genes. And their parents are a result of their parents. So it goes back in generations. And if you can acknowledge that and understand that it's not just about that person who did something to you, and that person also has a lot of crap that they have to deal with that they haven't dealt with. If you can just acknowledge that and forgive them for that and let it go out of your system, you're going to feel so much better. It's not going to be in your head anymore. It's a comforting feeling knowing you forgave someone, and it's not a worry anymore.
Yeah. And it's not a weight you need to carry.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of experiences that we've had in our lives. There's a lot of things that I can look back and be mad at myself, maybe at you, maybe at whatever, but it really comes down to the story you tell yourself. If I was in a place where I was upset with someone or mad at someone, and I'm kind of looking at them if I was them, I would do this and I would do that. And the truth of the matter is, if I was them, I would do the exact same thing that they did, because the personality that we are is the tip of the iceberg of 10,000 years of hardwired code.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It means, first of all, we're not perfect.
No.
People say the same things about us.
For sure.
That they do things differently if they were us. But if they were in our situation with our inputs and our environment and our upbringing and our genes, they do the same thing, which means almost, I don't want to take away the ownership from doing bad things or disagreements. But at the end of the day, it's almost like it's not even our fault. It's like we made such dumb mistakes when we were 25. But I realized that until you're 30 or 40, it's like you were shot out of a cannon. And wherever you land, you land.
Yeah.
There's no stopping where you're going. Mm-hmm. And so understanding that everyone's on this journey, everyone's learning every day, everyone's trying to be better. And you just diminishing someone, I get it. Some people don't get along, you don't want to talk to them. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can understand and have empathy for their situation and what they're going through and why they are the way they are, then you can release some of that hatred. Because that hatred is ugly, because there's an expression, the only person who suffers in hatred is you. Mm-hmm. It's like you're the only one.
I think in your heart, not your heart, but in your heart generally, if you can't forgive someone for something they did to you, that means there's fundamentally something wrong with yourself. You're not repairing yourself and doing the work, so it's just easier to be mad at someone else, right? Whereas I'm not mad at anyone. Like, if someone cuts me off on the highway or something, yeah, I'll probably in the moment like give him the finger or swear or something. But like, he's not a bad person. He's just
Yeah. What if he had a rough night of sleep? What if his vibe score was low? What if he's like late to a job and like there's all these things and he's just tweaked?
exactly. Or like, let's say you're at the restaurant and you're ordering food or whatever, and your waitress is kind of a bitch to you. You know, is she a bad person, or maybe her boyfriend broke up with her that day? Maybe her dad died. Maybe her dog died. The last place she wants to do is put on a happy face and serve you, but she's got bills to pay and she's got things to do. So are you going to give her a $0 tip, or are you going to empathize with her and say, hey, whatever it is you're going through, we've all gone through it. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So just forgive. It's okay. Everything's cool.
Yeah. It's assuming that people have bad days. And if you're interacting with them on that day, it is what it is. Like, give them a helping hand, you know? Like, you would want the same. Like, sometimes we don't act in our best way.
No,
And we don't want to be remembered for that.
no.
You know, we'd rather be forgiven. And there's tons of things that I think in myself that can anger me, of things I should have done or could have done or would have done. And like the biggest grudge I ever had, I guess, was like myself and my sense of super high expectations, like unrealistic expectations constantly.
Mhm.
Like, oh, you didn't do that, or you're not working hard enough, or you should be working, or you should be doing like this, like extremely toxic, like dad voice in your own head. And it's just like, just let it go.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, not to get into like church or whatever, but she said that since she started becoming more of a Christian and going to church, she said for years she was really working on forgiveness for other people and grudges she was holding and anger. And she said that's like the bulk of the work that she had to do. And because I was telling her the topic of the day of today.
Yeah.
And, you know, me too. I've been going to church a little more and getting into my faith. But for me, she's like, yeah, that's like a huge thing. So that's like a really good thing that you're like letting go of these things. And I said, actually, I've never really held grudges. I've never really like hated on a person and blamed them for that and blamed my situation on someone else. For me, the work was blaming myself and for things I had done in the past and holding that and letting that kind of define me. Whereas in the last, let's say, I don't know, 6 months or so, I've been doing the work to, who cares what happened
It's over.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago? Who cares? That is not the person you are today. And especially if you're working really hard at becoming a better person, then you can acknowledge then that what you did was a different version of yourself, a younger, dumber version of yourself. And it is what it is. Nothing can come of sticking to the past. But if you look to the future and all the great things that are possible and that are going to happen to you, it's like there's so much more to look forward to. Like, let go of the hate you had for the things you did and for yourself, and embrace who you are today, who you've become, and look forward to the future. And life becomes so much easier like
Lighter.
that. You're not blaming yourself. You're not doing anything. Like you're accepting. Right?
Totally. Yeah. You accept what has happened, and you use it as data to learn and evolve and use it towards who you want to be.
Yeah. So like, even if whether you're holding on to grudges and not forgiving yourself for things you have done, or holding on to grudges because you can't forgive other people for what they've done to you, drop it all. Drop it all. And I swear you will feel so good. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but it's like, just drop it or send them a text. Hey, sorry if I was a dick to you all these years ago. I'm telling you, even if they don't answer you, you're going to feel better because you did that for you. And that's a little bit of weight like put off. And I chose this as the topic of the day because it's something everybody can relate with, right? Not everyone can always relate with like wearables and your vibe score and stuff like that, right? But we're all about good vibes or bad vibes or any vibes. We're all about vibration.
Vibes, yeah.
So to me, just the work that I've done with myself, my vibe has become so much lighter.
You feel lighter.
Yeah, totally. And that's why I'm not the guy who knows everything, but I'm the guy who's experienced a lot in my lifetime and more than many people that I know. I've lived many different lives. So I have stories to tell and I have experiences that I've gone through where I can, how do I say it? Other people can learn from my mistakes, right?
Sure.
The wisdom I've gathered, I don't want to hold it in. I want to give everything I can to help other people.
Exactly.
One, it feels great to help other people.
And you're letting go. Right?
And two, I'm letting go. Yeah. And even like telling this story, like it's good for me to tell that story. And it's also good for people to hear that story.
Yeah.
So that's why I think to me it was kind of an important topic of the day of letting go and practicing forgiveness.
Yeah.
To yourself and to others. Even
if,
and I think even a big part of that is not just among friends or exes or whatever, but family. I think family is like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just realizing it now, but so many people that I know really close to me or even distant from me, it's the family aspect. And a lot of people hold real big grudges within their families, brothers, sisters, wives, mothers, parents, grandparents. It's like, yo, you only have one family, right?
yeah.
You don't have to be best friends with them. You don't have to call them every day, but to hold these big grudges and like not talk to each other for 30 years for probably the dumbest thing ever. It's like, bro, who cares?
Yeah.
Drop it. Drop it. Everyone is going to live a much better life.
Yeah. And it can't be from a lot of the people that we know and that we're talking about.
Hope you're watching this.
I hope you're watching it. They want to win. They want to be right.
Ego.
Right? The ego is crazy. And it's like almost like they can't take the high road because they would have to be perceived in their own minds
Right.
as the weaker one,
Yep.
the one who gave up.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like, man, just take the high road. You used to make fun of me for taking not that I always take the high road, but more times than not, like, I'm like, I rather the path of least resistance.
Yeah, you don't need the crazy confrontation and all the crap that comes with it. It's like, hey, you want to win? Great. I'm happy for you. We're cool.
Yeah.
You win.
Yeah, you win. It's great. Does that mean like things will be easier and we could just like forget what happened and just like get over it? Because there's no point in holding on to it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But the ego, if you have to like forgive someone, there's always the other side of the story. It's not like they're the evil Captain Hook.
No, there's always two sides to a story.
There's two sides that are equally valid, that each experiencer has experienced, subjective to themselves. And to say that they're completely wrong means that you're completely right and that they don't have brain cells. You know what I mean? It's like the left and the right when they argue.
Yeah.
They're really vibing at the same frequency.
Oh yeah, in politics, it's like, yeah, everyone has a side that they prefer, but I think everyone can acknowledge that both extreme left and right are equally moronic in their ways.
I would say that have equal vibe scores, equal poor sleep, equal HRVs.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I watch politics and entertainment around politics and I can enjoy it and laugh about it, but at the end of the day, that's not a life I would ever want to be in, you know? And there's a lot of ego in that. And sometimes the left, you know, the Trumpers will say things
left
that they barely even...
Trumpers are the right.
Yeah, they're right. But so like the Trumpers will say something, not because they believe in it, but just to piss off the people on the other side. And then the Biden Harris people will say shit that they don't even believe in just to piss off the people on the right. And it's like, are we here to like save America or make America good? Doesn't matter what side you're on, who cares? Or are you just here to bicker and cause commotion and cause division in the comment section and do all the chaos? But I guess that's what feeds the clicks. That's why we don't like politics.
Yeah, and it's I would think it's just a minority of people who are very loud, because it's usually the most fearful, the most scared, and the most unhealthy who make the most noise.
Yeah,
because they're living in fear. They live in fear that really this TV thing that they're watching is going to change their world in a way that they can never go back. And it's just absurd. Like you're giving all your ownership to the screen.
Yeah.
You're giving all your ownership to this curated narrative, whatever the hell it is.
That is literally designed to make your brain melt.
Yeah. Or at least it's optimized now to put out brain melting content, because that's the only thing that drives clicks.
Yeah.
Like politics maybe 20 years ago or 30 years ago was not as insane, but now there's people watching YouTube, people watching Netflix. No one's watching the standard stuff. So they have to make it spicy as hell
Yeah.
so that people watch it. And